Thank you for coming, those of you that are here. I got a quick little presentation, then I'm going to get into your questions. Just want to give everybody an update on what we've doing and how we operate, and get into your questions. Was anybody here last year's? You were here at last year's meeting, were you? No? Okay. You were here? Okay. Okay. Well, we voluntarily have these meetings every year just to keep everybody updated on what's going on, and my staff is back here. I want to introduce Miss Elizabeth there in the pink hat. She's the lady that you talk to when you call the office, whatever your phone call's about. That's the lady you talk to. Next to her is Miss Evelyn. She's the office manager. You may have to talk with her on some occasions. And the young man to the left or the right of her is Antonio. Stand up. Antonio is the one that you're going to see out in the street, fixing things and painting things and doing things. He's our man out in the street, so I wanted to introduce him. Antonio, thank you. Have a good evening. He wants to go home and be with his family tonight. On your chair is this little flyer here from 811. If you were here last year, you heard my speech on that. What 811 is, it's a free service. If you're going to go out, plant a tree, dig a hole, put in a clothesline, whatever you're going to do, put up some fencing, please call 811 first. And what that is, a free service. What they'll do is they'll coordinate with all the utilities that are in the ground, phone, cable, water, gas, electric. I think most of the electric out here is overhead. And we'll come out and mark those locations for you. If you don't do that and you damage a water line or electric line, you're on the hook for the cost of repairing it. I made the example earlier. There was recently a gentleman over Holiday Gardens that was out digging a new clothesline post and broke a 4-inch water main, and that cost him about $1,000 to get it repaired. So that's a bill we gave him. So please take advantage of the 811 system, and we'll get that marked for you. And this little handout tells you all about it. The next one I put on your chair is a publication from the Southwest Florida Water Management District. It's about saving water indoors. A little pamphlet just to get you started. If you'd like more information, you go to their website, which is watermatters.org. And they have tons and tons of information out there on how you can save water. Ladies in the back are going to take some information if you are so inclined. If you'd like to get an email, if we have an emergency situation like emergency water break or a pump goes out or something, if you'd like to get notified of that by email, please see the ladies in the back and they'll take your email address and we'll get you put on the list. If you have any updated contact information, maybe you've recently changed your phone number or you want to open a P.O. box if you're going back north or what have you. If you have any update on your contact information or maybe you change your email address, see the ladies in the back and they'll write that down. We'll get that taken care of. If you like to get your monthly bill emailed to you, if you're currently getting a paper copy and you want to get it emailed to you, also see the ladies in the back and we'll take that information down. And we're trying to do what we can to save paper. We've had some requests from folks that are interested in paying their bill online. Obviously, you can mail a check or money order into the office. You can come to the office. We have 24/7 access there. We have a little slot in the window. You can drop a payment in. That's very popular. Of course, you know, the office is only a couple miles away. But I know there are some snowbirds that go back that are wanting to pay it online. Is anybody out here have an interest in that? Would you use that? Okay. Okay, good. Okay. We'll be putting that in, I'm going to guess and say the next 60 to hang. Yeah. Yeah, we'll get that. We'll get that put in the next probably 30 to 60 days. But we'll send you a notice in your envelopes, and so you know when to take advantage of that. I wanted to tell you about some things that we have been doing, some things we're going to be doing in the future on the water system itself. As there was kind of a highly visible thing that people seen that we replaced the tank over on well number 4. We haven't painted it yet. We're waiting for the weather to be opportune to do that. We replaced all the plumbing. We replaced all that old galvanized pipe and installed a new check valve at well number 2. That's all been completed, and we did all the repiping. We have replaced or repaired some valves that are in the ground to help us manage the system a little bit, and it was important to get that done. And here, probably in the next, sometime during the summer, we will be replacing the well pump at well number 2. Let's see. And for Crest Ridge, we have not replaced a lot of meters out there. That's going to be our project for the spring and the summer, getting the meters replaced, and we'll take care of the boxes and lids and everything while we're there. That because we're going to be doing that, I want to talk to you guys about if you have a fence in your backyard. Obviously, we need to have access to that. There's been some folks who have their property completely gated off, and I understand that, and I'm willing to work with you. But if you or your neighbor, if you look in the backyard, you have, most of you in Crest Ridge have the utilities in the backyard. You see the power lines, the phone lines. That's where the water lines are. That's a general utility easement. And if I have to get back there, say a water line breaks or your meter's not working, if your fence is in the way, I'm going to remove it. What I would prefer to do, and having to, cut somebody's fence down, is work with you, especially you snowbirds that go back. If you're gone for 6 months and there's a water line break back there, I can't wait for you to come back, and you're not going to answer your door because you're not there. So what I would prefer to do is, if you keep a lock, we'll be happy to keep a copy of the key at the office. There's a lot of people that do that. Some people have combination locks that they put on there, and we have the combination. Our meter reader needs to get back there on a monthly basis to read the meter, and then we also need to have access to the water lines in the back. So I'm trying to avoid any confrontation I can. Just see the girls in the back if you want us to set up something like that, and we'll be happy to do it. Which reminds me, if anybody here or any of your neighbors, 2 things. This video is being recorded. It's going to be on the Utilities YouTube channel. So if you have a neighbor or somebody that's not able to attend a meeting tonight, they want to watch it, they can go into the Utilities YouTube channel and watch the meeting. Also, we offer a free service, something I choose to do. If you are a snowbird and you're going back, please call the office. We will come out and turn your water meter off and lock it. We're trying to avoid pipe splitting in the middle of the summer when nobody's around and a lot of water being wasted. The only caveat I tell you with that is that when you come back, give us a couple days notice that you're going to be back. We will meet you at your house at an appointed time, and we will turn the water back on, and then you can go in your house and make sure there's no leaks. We do not turn on water to vacant homes. So if we turn your water off due to your request, and you're going to show up in your driveway and call the office and say, come turn my water on, it's not going to happen. So please be aware of that. We're going to make an appointment. You're going to be there. If you want to call the office and say, we'll be there on Thursday and today's Tuesday, we're not going to turn it on because we can't get into your house. We don't know what pipes may be broken or what faucets may have split or whatever the scenario is, and we're not going to turn the water on. So if you ask us to turn it off, we will be happy to do that. But we're going to have an appointed time when you come back where you could go into your house and make sure there's no issues when we turn the water back on. That way we don't waste water. For you, those of you in Crest Ridge, when your new officers were sworn in, and they asked me to come do this swearing-in ceremony. I did, and that video is on the Utilities YouTube channel as well if you want to watch your new officers being sworn in. You're going to see Antonio running around a lot up and down the road, especially when we get into replacing meters. That's going to be a very big thing there. And for those of you that are wanting to do it, we can now take your payment over the phone with a debit or credit card. So if you want to call the office, you can. There's a convenience fee that is paid. Is it $3? $2.50, I beg your pardon. That is the fee that the credit card company charges us. We don't make a single penny off of that. So if you want to call it in with a debit card or credit card, there's a $2.50 convenience fee that's added to that, and we can take a payment with a debit card or credit card over the phone, and we'll get into the being able to pay it online going down the road in the future. I think that's all that I had. Let me, who has a question I can answer? Yes, ma'am. Sure. Yes, ma'am. So where do you turn it off at? Same place? We would turn it off at the curb stop and lock it. That's that brass thing that's about that long. That's called a curb stop, and it turns. It has little, we call them ears. I would prefer that you get us to come out and do that. Yeah, because if you break that thing, you're going to have to pay for it. That's part of the utilities property. Yeah, and I would really prefer that you not do that. What we can do, if you would like. Well, it's brand new and it works just fine. Yeah, but when you bust it, you're going to pay for it. Okay. So it's actually a criminal act to mess with the utilities property. No, I'm not allowed to do that. Yeah, I would rather you not. What you can do, what we will be happy to do, if we can come out and turn the curb stop off for you, and you can install a valve on your side of the meter, and that way you can turn it off and turn it back on at your leisure. There are some folks, hang on, there are some folks that have valves on their side of the meter, and when they leave to go back north, they just turn their valve off. But there are some houses out here that don't have that. Hang on, don't interrupt me. There are some houses out here that don't have that. They don't have valves on their side, so we're happy to come shut the meter off. But you really should have a valve on your side. Okay. Anything on your side of the downstream side of the meter is yours, and from the meter back is mine. So there has been circumstances where, people have went out and messed with those, they put a screwdriver on a big pair of pliers, and they turn it and they break the pipe. That happened to us last 2 weeks ago, and they did it at 10 o'clock at night, and it was 2 o'clock in the morning before we could get out there. And, Antonio was there till 4 o'clock in the morning fixing it. So that's why I ask everybody, tell us when you're going to leave. We'll come out and do it. We'll lock it. The unfortunate thing, and the reason I stress locking it, is because, sometimes kids come around playing. They like to turn on valves and turn knobs and push buttons. And it's happened. It doesn't happen a lot, but it happens where kids are going out and turn on valves, and the house floods, and the house will sit there for a week until somebody notices water coming out the door. By then, it's too late. So that's why I offer this service. Like I said, we don't charge for it, but we will put a lock on it. I would, in a perfect world, I would prefer you have your own valve, and you turn your own valve off. But in the absence of that, we'll be happy to come out and do that. Yes, sir. The valve on your side is just a turn. The gate valve. There's no way you can lock that up. Right. We'll be replacing those. When you replace the meter, replace all that. I'll still have a shut-off valve on my side. Yes, sir. We're not going to touch anything on your side. We'll put a locking curb stop in there. We'll take that old gate valve out. Most of this subdivision, when it was built, they ran those copper lines up, and they soldered in the gate valves, and some of them work, some of them don't. We've replaced 100 of them over in Holiday Gardens. So we're going to start doing that here. So we'll come back and replace it with a locking curb stop to the meter, with a new fitting to the brand new meter, and then you have your valve on your side. If you think you want to replace that valve or do any plumbing work, call the office and we'll schedule it to where we can come out and turn the water off, do our work, and when your plumber comes out, we can just kill two birds with one stone. We're more than happy to do that. Yes, sir. Did you have a question? Oh, okay.
Oh, I did. I was curious. I don't get it out very much. How many, how do we get our water service? I mean, where's our water come from exactly? 'Cause several wells?
Yes,
Is that it?
there's 3 wells in Crest Ridge, and it's a loop system, so everything is pumped all around.
And it just seems like, I've lived there about 20 years, and it just seems like now the water is just a weird flavor or something. Has it changed in the last couple, maybe 2 years?
But somebody was here the first meeting mentioned that same thing. We put a new tank in at well number 4, and we've had to adjust the chlorine. The chlorine, we disinfect the water with chlorine, so we have to adjust it just a little bit at a time to keep from overdosing you with chlorine. And it takes a while to work it out. We turn the pump up or down a little bit, go test the water, turn the pump up and down a little bit, go test the water. So it's going to take us a little bit of time to get that worked out.
Better, I can say, but I mean, just over the last year for sure, I've noticed it to the point where I won't drink it for sure.
Yeah, the water's completely safe to drink. Yeah, when you go back in the back,
Except for my coffee, I don't know.
give the girls your address, and I'll send Antonio out there tomorrow, and we'll double check it. If you can, yeah, just the new tank had to make us adjust the chlorine a little bit, and it's going to take us a little bit to kind of fine tune it in. I told the previous meeting that when the snowbirds leave, the water consumption is going to go down. So when they start to leave, 1st of April, it may get a little bit strong, but we'll adjust it down back again, because the chlorine pump has to be adjusted to the flow of the water. Yeah. So, does anybody else have a question or comment about anything? Well, since we put the new tank in, we have. Are you experiencing low water pressure now? Okay. Okay. If you will, when we leave. Okay, we'll come out and check it. What I'm telling people, and you probably heard it at the last meeting, make sure that you flush your hot water heater. That I'm going to remind you every year you come here to do that. You need to flush your hot water heater at least once a year. And if you have any kind of filtration systems on your home, please check that. I was telling the previous folks that over the years of me, people calling and saying we're having low pressure, we don't have any pressure, 80 to 90% of the time, it's because they haven't flushed their hot water heater, or they have some kind of house filtration system that's clogged up or not working properly, and they're not getting the water pressure in. So when we hear of people complaining about an odor or a bad color in their water, vast majority of the times it's coming out of your hot water heater. Yeah. So. Okay. That's definitely going to take the pressure down. Yeah. But if that water softener is not back flushing properly, or that's going to take the pressure down also. Uh-huh. Okay. No, ma'am. No, ma'am. No, we brought Antonio on board. Yeah. 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 When I bought the company, the guy that used to read the meters, I can't remember his name, he retired. Okay. I'm not familiar with that person. I don't know who that was. Oh, really? They had you calling him in direct? Okay. I didn't know that. Okay. Yeah. If you know, Antonio works exclusively for Crest Ridge and Holiday Gardens, so he's going to be the man that you see, out running around doing stuff. That's why I wanted to bring him here tonight and let everybody, see a face. So when you see him running around, you know who he is. You know he's an employee of the utility, and he's not just somebody wandering around in your backyard. So, yeah. Yeah, and I want to encourage that. And also, if you guys seen Antonio tonight, but, tell your neighbors if they see somebody walk around the backyard, they're not sure who they are, call the office. And we'll verify that is Antonio and he's supposed to be there. And if it's not Antonio and he's not supposed to be there, then, you can call the sheriff's department or do whatever you want from there. But yeah, we'll be happy to verify that that's Antonio and he's supposed to be there. Anybody else have a question or comment? Yes, sir.
I guess I was curious, the last couple of statements on my bill,
Okay.
about the rates.
Okay.
And one of the things I was curious of is, do you have like a average household consumption? Like, I wondered how I fell into the gist of things. I think it said I used 3,000 gallons or something. Am I a big user of water? Or?
No, when the Florida Public Service Commission come in and set the new rates, they design what they call an inclining block rate structure. If you're in the like Southwest Florida, if you're in the water conservation, they call it a conservation rate. So they set it to 0 to 3,000 gallons, which is the most common used amount. Then after 3,000, it goes up. The price gets higher per 1,000 gallons. We sell you water in per 1,000 gallon increments. So 0 to 3,000 is about what everybody uses. When you get up,
Kinder on the average user, and then once you start getting more extreme, that's when you start paying for some water.
correct.
Which I think is a good idea.
Yeah.
Let the person trying to tighten up get the better value.
Yeah, it's a water conservation thing is what it is. And
Does it mean like my bill will go up about a 2/3? It looked like it was a pretty exciting jump up.
yeah, the new rates actually went into effect this month, but you're not going to get billed for them until we send out the bills in March. So when you get your bills in a couple weeks, that will reflect the new rates. There's no way for me to know without seeing your account and getting a calculator and what have you. But yeah, the new rates will be billed on when we do billing on March 1st.
What percentage is the new rates higher?
Well, I really don't remember, to be honest with you. The commission were you here for the Public Service Commission meeting? No. Okay. Well, the Public Service Commission during the rate hearing came into this room and they had a meeting with all the customers, very similar to this. And at the time, I want to say the increase was 96% or 98% or something to that effect. But as they got going along, that ended up getting reduced a little bit, and I don't remember what that number was, to be honest with you. We sent out a letter to everybody. You have a copy of the letter there? Yeah. And just remember that this utility is regulated by the Florida Public Service Commission. So you can go on their website, and everything that we do is completely 100% transparent. It's all there. It's all public record. And if you call the office, if you want to get a copy of the rate sheet or a copy of your bill or what have you, we will provide that to you. It's, like I say, it's all public record, and you're entitled to have it. It's your right to have it, and we will certainly send you a copy. Yeah, the first proposed rates were a little bit higher than what they actually ended up being. Anybody else got a question or comment? I don't want to keep us here any longer than we have to. Thank you for coming. Please encourage your neighbors to come out next year, and hopefully I'll have a lot more fun stuff to announce and getting some of these repairs done and getting our system back up to date. Thank you.